Hey guys, just got done shooting an NC here, and I figure, well, I got the camera, might as well do one of the vlogs. So, this is the Boiling Rock. This is part 1 and 2. I decided to just do them side by side, because, I mean, they really connect well. And this is the episode where Zuko and Sokka, they go to this prison to see if his father and Suki are there. And sure enough, they are, and they plan this great big escape. My initial reaction watching it is, why was this 2 episodes? I was constantly saying to myself, they could have done this in 1. They even had a good escape going at the end of the first part, and then they back out and whatever, they see the father and Suki there, and I was thinking, well, they could just have them come in earlier, that they didn't need to make this 2. But then I saw the climax, and I said, oh! Now I get it. And then now it clicks. Because, man, was that a good climax. You know, this show has had so many good action scenes and so many climaxes to their episodes. This was just another great one. And, man, shocked me seeing the 2 girls turn against Azula like that. Well, it was May and Ty Lee, I think were their names. And, yeah, just did not see it coming, but it felt like, yeah, this would happen. It felt like this was the natural thing that would happen. And the reason for that, because I was asking myself, why did that feel more natural than when Zuko changed sides? Or rather, changed back to the dark side. And I think the reason for it is that the character they've created with May, obviously, they build up that she's naturally very bored. She's bored by everything. And when Azula comes along, she's excited because she can finally do something. It's almost like she was never given that rebellious part of her childhood that she wanted, because she always got what she wanted. So she... And people, especially young people, you know, they crave something different. They want to try and take risks and do something that, you know, might get them in trouble, or it just testing the boundaries. And when you have no boundaries to test, it can be very boring. So now we have this romance that was going on between her and Zuko. She confronts him in the prison. I mean, he's pretty much at her mercy, and he doesn't turn. I mean, he explains himself and why he did it. And I forget if he apologizes for just leaving and not explaining, apart from a note, whether or not he saw it as the right thing. I think even he doesn't know. And you have that look when he's going to escape and he locks her in the room, and they exchange this look. They just look into each other's eyes. And it's this very... It's a wonderful look, but it's hard to sum up exactly what it is. It's a look of sort of an apology, but also, no, it's not even an apology. Maybe that's what it is. It's that I've chosen my side, I have feelings for you, but I've chosen my side. And he runs off. And she sees that, and that's the point where she decides to turn, and that is so fascinating. And maybe because we haven't gone as much into her character, there is a little bit more of a mystery to her. But you know that she is bored, you know she is sort of rambunctious and wants to do, you know, almost wants to get in trouble. And here is something that she actually has placed value in, you know, in this boy, in this prince. And she, I guess at that moment she felt it was worth fighting for and going to prison and riding away or whatever. I'm sure that's not going to happen, but, and it's just a great, surprising moment that it feels justified. It really feels like it worked its way up to it. But then the one that really got me was Ty Lee changing and turning around. Again, feels totally justified. Both really shocked me, and I love it. Again, just when a show can surprise me like that, but you feel like, yes, that was warranted. Which, again, just to emphasize, Zuko turning to the Fire Nation again was not, it's not that it wasn't justified or couldn't see it happening. It's more that they didn't show the progression into that because they showed such a long progression of the struggle he was going through before. And this turn, again, I understand it because some people were saying like, you know, oh, but it's like an alcoholic, you know, that they can just turn. They can turn on a whim and they can be back in the dark place and everything. And they show the consequences for it, and that's all great. But they showed so much. I mean, they showed his friggin' dreams of what he was going through when he was changing back, and he seemed legitimately happy. to be at that spot. So, to me, I could use just a little bit more, and it seemed more like they were going for the shock of it. And I think for a character you develop so much, the shock isn't as powerful, or at least not for me, because I know a lot of people were like, holy shit! And for me, I could kind of see it coming mostly because of that reason, that they didn't dive into what he was thinking and everything, because I'm like, oh, okay, they're going to go for the surprise, and they did. But it's still fine. It's a nitpick. Ty Lee changing there was really great, and you could see it because this is obviously a good-hearted character, just happens to kind of be on the wrong side. And we're seeing that with a lot of people in the Fire Nation, which I like. Again, makes them much more human. I like Azula really being betrayed, and I like her being so angry and so hurt by it. And, obviously she's just going to try and go off and forget about it. But I mean, she says, I want them to rot. I want them in the deepest, darkest jail cell, and I want them to rot for the rest of their days. I mean, she is obviously so hurt by this, and I like seeing a scene like that. Because, like I said, I mentioned before, we seem to really like villains. We like villains a lot. And we like it when villains go out in a cool-ass way, when they're launched off the cliff, and they burst into, a puddle of lava or something like that. Some sort of cool, awesome, badass way a villain can go out. But when... I think there's this real truth in sort of reality that people who... Even when people who do a lot of bad things get victories, or either a lot of victories or one big victory or whatever, it seems like things are going their way, they still have to live with themselves. And the reason people do a lot of bad things is because they're not satisfied with themselves. And as much as they try to lie to themselves and they try to convince themselves, as this character clearly does, the more empty they'll find themselves when the really important days come, when they find they have to be on their own. And when those friends and those things that you try to get and you try to keep and you try to possess are taken away, then you start to see what was really important. And a lot of it was being nice and sacrificing and being, kind and all that stuff. And I don't know if they're going to do, I like to see more of because she looks so, like I said, so angry at these two, where other characters, she'd be like, oh, I don't care, I'm evil, But she looks so angry, so she was obviously so betrayed by it. I like to see that keep going. I hope that's the direction they're going to go. I like to see her, because there's still a few episodes, I like to see her deteriorate if they're going to do that. Because she's been so... perfect, like just this perfect villain. I love to see them not give her the badass, sort of the badass ending. I like to see her actually fall apart. So I hope that's where they go with it. What else? One other thing I'll say about that, I was talking to Carl Custer, Uncle Yo, about this a while ago. We were talking about favorite characters, and he was talking about characters like Azula, and he said the most fascinating thing about those people is that they never have a finish line. And I always remember that. That's a very, very good line, is that even when Azula has everything, I mean, she's a princess, she's practically next in line for the throne, and now her brother is gone and stuff like that, or even when she thinks the Avatar is gone, all this stuff, she still wants to keep destroying people. She still needs that power. Even when she has everything, she needs even more. And I think that is such a sad tragedy of these kind of people. I think even when I have seen people have done rotten bad things or have lied or cheated or whatever, and they get these victories, but you see they still have to live with themselves, and it's not easy for them. Sometimes they never can really live with themselves, and they fall apart. So it's, there is a lot of truth to that saying, living well is the best revenge. If you're happy with yourself, who cares what X, Y, and Z think or anything like that? I mean, that's just the best you can ask for, and people who constantly need control and power over others are not happy with themselves. So I hope they go this route I'm talking about. Or they give her the badass ending. Maybe that'd be cool too. I don't know, but I like to see her fall apart because they build her up so much. But regardless, there's our stuff in this episode. Sorry, I sort of dwelled on that, but it is 2 episodes. So I have more time. I like that when Zuko is in this prison. I like that they do address the fact that they address him catching up with some things. Like, I love when he comes across Suki, and Suki's just giving him this evil look. It's like, what is it? And he's like, did we meet before? And she's like, yes, you destroyed my village. And he's like, oh, sorry. I mean, it's just great moments like that. I love catching characters up like that, and that it's not just this person's with this person and then they go. It's like they remember what happened, and I like that. I like that, keeping that connection going. What else? The location of the place is pretty cool, and I like the ingenuity. I like that Sokka. I don't think they need to give Sokka that episode with the sword training. Again, I haven't seen the whole show. I don't know if it's going to come back, but I don't think it was necessary. I think he was fine as an idea guy. I think that was enough, because again, you see him putting his ideas into motion. That whole idea about getting that cold cell and having that go in the water, the boiling hot water, and going across. I mean, that's a great idea, and he has these great ideas, and they're sort of building up, oh, what's Sokka good for? He's not a bender, he's not anything. He was. He was this good character, and he did have these great ideas. So again, I don't know if that's going to tie in anywhere. Maybe it is, maybe it's not, but in terms of why they did it, like, oh, he doesn't have anything, I thought he did, and it wasn't just comic relief. I thought he actually did, on top of having his very honorable moments, he had his very smart moments. He was the idea guy, sort of the mad, crazy ideas. So, and just seeing him drop that cell into the water and trying to go across, I felt really explored that again. And yeah, what else? I think that's all the really major stuff in this one. At times it sort of seemed like they were filling up time, but like I said, it built up to that ending. And the last thing I'll say before I sign off here is I forget, it was like the guy in charge of the prison or whatever, at first I didn't get why he was saying cut the wire on the train or the cart that he was on that was going to allow them to escape, because he would die too. But then I remember that, oh hey, this is a guy so obsessed with not letting anybody escape that he would put his own life in jeopardy. I didn't get that until they finally get to the end, and they have him tied up there, and they're just like, it looks like your record's been broken, and they walk away, and I was like, oh, that's why. He was actually so consumed, with his honor of keeping this the unescapable prison that he would even sacrifice his life. I love that. I love that madness. That's just so great. So, yeah, I think that's about it. Okay, last thing, doesn't even connect with this episode, but it's a fault on my part. There was a part in one of them where I think the invasion, where Azula said that she knew they were going to attack on the day of the eclipse. I was like, well, when was that said? It clearly was said. A lot happens in this show and I forgot it, but when they're dressed up as the warriors, and the Earth King says to them, yeah, there's gonna be an invasion on the eclipse, so my bad. They made it very, very clear, and unless it's in the previously on Avatar, I'm gonna forget. So, but yeah, that was my screw up there. And again, this is just way in the past. It has nothing to do with this episode, but I'm gonna bring it up now. The Earth King. Okay, they tell him, I know I'm rambling, but I don't care. They say that at the beginning of this season, oh yeah, the Earth King, he wanted to see the world, so he got on his bear and he rode off and stuff like that. And that's it. I'm assuming you never see him again, and he's happy-go-lucky, ha-ha, and he's off to see the world, and the show sort of treats it like that too. Bye-bye, Earth King, tee-hee, ha-ha. No. This guy fucked up a lot. And at the end of the last season, it looked like he was really torn up, but the Earth Kingdom has fallen. We are lost. And he has finally seen, how much of it was his fault, and how much he should have kept his eyes open and so forth, and he was trying to make things better. And then they're sort of like, he just sort of got on his bear and rode off. Haha, that's our goofy character. I was not cool with that. I really thought that either, even if they want to send him off, that's fine, but send him off and say, like, I'm gonna go atone for my problems or atone for my mistakes. I'm gonna try and make things better. I'm gonna go and see what I can do. I'm gonna explore this world, see what I can discover. Make it even out to what you did with the character before, to even out his mistakes, or at least attempt to even out those mistakes, or even if he was like tee-hee ha-ha and rode off and everyone looked at him like, wow, that guy's totally nuts. Or even that would make more sense. But it's the fact that the show allows him to go off with no responsibility for his actions. That bothered me. I know it's not even like one of my favorite characters. It's one of my least favorite characters, honestly. But it's the fact that they let that go. It's like the Great Divide. I'm just, no, that should have been left out. So, or that should have been explained better. Something better could have been done with that. But has nothing to do with this episode. I just wanted to get it in there before I forgot. So that's the two Earth King things that I should have brought up before. So I'm just making it up here because I reviewed 2 episodes in this one and I figured I have the time. So guys, that's about it. I shall see you later.